Hey, I'm Lana from Lana Gloschat Art, and in this video, we're unboxing the August 2026 SketchBox. This month's box is all about alcohol markers. Ready to get into it? Let's go. The surface in this month's box is the SketchBox Signature Professional Marker Paper. This pad contains 24 sheets of 4x7-inch paper that is smooth and completely bleed-proof. To go along with it, we have 6 SketchBox Signature dual-tip alcohol markers. Each marker features a chisel tip, which is great for filling in large areas, along with a flexible brush tip, which is ideal for expressive mark making and detail work. These 6 colors create a vibrant jewel tone palette and include Cobalt Crush, Teal Dawn, Spiced Sunrise, Purple Rain, Wine Knot, and Watermelon Wishes. As you warm up with your markers this month, take some time to explore the variety of marks that you can make. We also have a Copic sketch marker in chrome orange. Like the SketchBox Signature markers, it features both a broad chisel tip and a flexible brush nib, giving you plenty of versatility. Copic markers are known for their high-quality alcohol ink and exceptional blending capabilities, and this marker is completely compatible with the SketchBox Signature markers included in this month's box. Next, we have the Sakura Sketch Brush in black. The ink in this pen is archival, fade-resistant, and waterproof, and the flexible brush tip responds to changes in pressure and direction, which allows you to create a wide range of marks. I'll use this pen for the line work in our Neurographic warm-up. For this piece, I begin by drawing a loose continuous line across the page. This line is intuitive and naturally divides the paper into many smaller sections. Once the page has been broken down into a collection of organic shapes, begin focusing your attention on the places where the lines intersect. Transform the sharp corners into smooth curves by gradually thickening portions of the line and rounding out those intersections. The repetitive motion of softening the corners can become almost meditative, and many people find neurographic art to be a calming process because it encourages you to slow down, stay present, and to focus on the movement of the pen rather than the outcome of the artwork. And while these pieces can look really cool, I want you to remind yourself that this exercise is much more about the process than the final results. Once the Sakura ink is completely dry, it's time to begin filling in these shapes with color. As I move through the design, I experiment with layering to create as many new colors as possible. Here, I'm layering Spiced Sunrise over Teal Dawn to create a vibrant green. And here, I'm creating a warm neutral by layering Wine Knot over Spiced Sunrise. This combination shifts towards brown because yellow and violet sit opposite one another on the color wheel. When complementary colors are combined, they naturally neutralize one another. And having a few neutrals mixed into your palette can be a great way to balance all of the vibrant jewel tones included in this month's box. As you warm up with your neurographic pieces, challenge yourself to mix as many unique color combinations as possible, and get curious about what happens when you begin experimenting with different ratios, such as 2 layers of one color over a single layer of another color. In the neurographic piece, I started with Sakura ink and then added marker on top, but the reverse approach works just as well. Here I've laid down a swatch of Wine Knot, and I'm drawing over it with the Sakura sketch brush. This demonstrates that the pen performs beautifully over the marker as well, so don't be afraid to experiment with different workflows until you find the one that suits both your style and your project. The final item in this month's box is a white Faber-Castell Polychromos pencil. If you didn't know already, colored pencil is the primary medium I use for my personal work, and I can say from experience that Polychromos pencils are exceptional. They hold a sharp point, they lay down smooth, translucent color, and are beautifully crafted tools. Here, I'm using the white Polychromos pencil over a swatch of Purple Rain mixed with Watercolor Wishes. Notice that the pencil doesn't completely cover the marker underneath. I love this transparent coverage because it allows us to create a beautiful range of tints while also allowing the underlying color to show through a bit. Now, let's use all these materials together to create a desert landscape inspired by this month's prompt, stained glass. I start by inking in my cactus using the Sakura sketch brush. For this part of the drawing, I use a photo reference to help me capture realistic shapes and variety in the cactus petals, but I kept the drawing itself very simple. No texture or details yet. While it might feel more comfortable to start your drawing with pencil, I would encourage you to try going straight in with ink for a crisper, more confident final result. That doesn't mean that you have to go in blind though. Take a moment to explore a few different ideas with rough thumbnail sketches first. This gives you an opportunity to work through composition and design decisions before committing to your final drawing. And remember, if you make a mistake, it's no big deal. This marker pad includes 24 double-sided sheets, giving you plenty of surface to experiment, practice, and play with. Some of the best discoveries happen when things don't go exactly as planned, so don't be afraid to take a few creative risks. For this composition, I placed the cactus slightly off center and then worked on the background elements. For the sun, I traced a small round container so I could get a nice clean circle. With the line drawing complete, it's time to switch over to marker. For this piece, I know I'll be doing a lot of layering, so my first goal is simply to establish the major color areas. Think of this as laying down a foundation that we can refine and build upon with additional layers later. I start by coloring the sun with Spiced Sunrise, the cactus fruit with Watermelon Wishes, and the mountains with Chrome Orange. Then I move over to the cactus petals. I know I ultimately want them to be green, but since I don't actually have a green marker, I begin with a light layer of Teal Dawn. Once those major elements are blocked in, I step back and evaluate the composition. At this point, I decided that the right side of the piece felt a little empty compared to the cactus side, so I grabbed my brush pen and add a couple simple clouds to help balance the design. Then I switch back to the markers. I used the Spiced Sunrise to build glowing yellows around the sun, and then brought it in over the Teal Dawn in the cactus, which resulted in a vibrant green. My plan for this piece is to create a rich desert sunset, so I use the yellow, orange, and pink markers to build a gradient radiating out from the sun. For the clouds, I chose purple to create a bit of contrast against those warmer colors. Alcohol markers don't create seamless gradients quite the way colored pencils or watercolor do, and that's perfectly okay. In fact, we're going to break up these large areas of color a little later, which will naturally soften some of those transitions in the sky and make them feel more integrated. With a bit of Teal Dawn and Cobalt Crush added to the water, I now have color across the entire composition. At this point, I switch gears from blocking in basic colors to refining color choices and adding detail. This starts by dividing the sky into smaller sections to create that stained glass effect. As I work, I focus on creating a variety of shapes and sizes, along with lines of varying thicknesses, to keep the design visually interesting. I found that allowing these arcing shapes to radiate out away from the sun really helped reinforce that feeling of a hot desert sunset. Here is another version of this piece, where I experimented with a different approach to the sky. In this one, I left the sun white and started by creating long radiating lines that extended outward before breaking them into smaller sections. Notice that I didn't change everything from the original design though. I kept many of the compositional elements that were already working, and I only experimented with a few variables at a time. Small changes are a great way to explore new ideas without becoming overwhelmed. To help the mountains feel distinct from the sky, I changed the character of my shapes. Instead of using flowing arcs, I incorporated more quadrilaterals and triangles, stronger, more structural shapes that helped suggest the ridges and plains of the distant landscape. Then, when I move over to the cactus, I use arcing lines to turn the flat petals and fruits into more three-dimensional forms. To continue to push that sense of depth, I needed a wider range of values here, so I come in with Cobalt Crush to create a darker green in portions of the cactus. I really try to keep different planes of the petals at different values. This helps create the illusion that the sun is hitting the surface facing the light, while the areas turned away fall into shadow. And I continue this same approach on the fruits using Purple Rain for the shadows. Earlier, I mentioned that we would be softening the gradient in the sky. Dividing the sky into smaller stained glass sections helped, but layering with color is going to take it to the next level. Here, I'm adding a touch of purple over some of the pink areas to create the impression that the pink is fading into purple around the edges. Then I pull some of the pink into the orange sections and some of the orange into the yellow sections. Instead of distinct bands of color, we now have an implied gradient that moves across the sky. To add more depth and variety to the mountains, I layer Wine Knot and Purple Rain over portions of the Chrome Orange. This is the first time in this piece that I'm layering colors that neutralize one another. The resulting browns help ground the composition and give the eye a place to rest within an otherwise vibrant and energetic color palette. Now it's time for tints. I use the white polychromos pencil to lighten the sun, and then I carry those light highlights throughout the piece, focusing on surfaces that would naturally catch the light. I add lighter passages to the face of the mountain closest to the sun, as well as the edges of the cactus petals and fruits that are turned towards the light source. Finally, I add a few dots to the cactus petals for extra texture and personality. This detail feels a little less like traditional stained glass, but that's part of what makes art prompts so valuable. They're not meant to be strict rules. Instead, they're a jumping off point, something that gets your creativity moving. Once you're engaged in the process, you can follow your own ideas and let the artwork evolve in a direction that feels exciting to you. And now this piece is complete. I hope you learned a ton about alcohol markers, and we can't wait to see what you create. So be sure to use the hashtag SketchBoxAugust when you post your work online. For more unboxing videos and tutorials, you can check out our YouTube page where you can like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.